Warning: the following podcast contains violent scenes that may be unsettling to some listeners. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, and welcome back to Twin Cities by Night and our third story arc, Dread. Dread is set in the Twin Cities of Minnesota, Minneapolis, and St. Paul in the hot and humid summer of 2011. Join us again and continue to follow the journey of Kaetao, played by Quinn, and William, played by Slavic, as they continue to traverse the dark society held within the Twin Cities. They will be joined by three new kindred: Warren, a Tremere, played by Adam; Valentine, a Nosferatu, played by Alex; and Lenny, a Nosferatu, played by Andrew. The coterie will find themselves joined together by a sense of dread. If you would like to contact us, you can follow us on Twitter at twin_cities_VTM or Facebook at Twin Cities by Night. We hope you enjoy.
So where we left off, we were at the Echo Projects, and we had just seen Kaetao kind of wheel and deal his way into getting three specific individuals to go and investigate and see what information they could find out about a gentleman named Little in the Echo Projects who resides there. And where Kaetao was currently at, he had his car parked in a parking lot that was on the east side of the projects, facing one of the buildings. It was a project that the evening before, he had gone to kind of scope out and kind of get a vibe of what was going on there. And Lenny and Valentine were both walking towards the building on the east side of the projects. Now, before we cut to you two, let me describe kind of like the building and what it looks like and what you're seeing as you're going up to it. So each of these buildings and the projects are identical. There's one on the north, the west, the south, and the east, and you guys are walking towards the one on the east. They are about 16 stories tall, and they're made of like red brick, and they have about 10 windows that go along the longer side, which you, Valentine and Lenny, can see as you are walking across the street. You can also see, both of you, on the building that's on the south side, the side of a building, and the side of these buildings only have one window for each of the floors. You can see on some of these windows on the long side that you're walking towards are open. Some curtains are kind of like hanging out. You see some have very unstable looking window mounted air conditioners that seem to be held by very thin metal brackets or by string or by simply just having a square in the window cut out and cardboard filling it in. And you can see that the top of each building has what looks to be like a shed on the roof. Like, so if you look up the 16 stories to the top, you'll see there looks like there might be like kind of like a fence that's like waist length or a little higher than waist length, and like a shed like building that is almost as long as the wide side of the building. And you can't really tell though quite how big it is. You can kind of just see the silhouette of it on the top of the building. These buildings, it's currently dark right now. The weather is starting to become humid again, even after that rain that you had, and still the rain that is the water that is collected on the ground. There's still that humid feeling to the air. And when these buildings kind of like stick out like ominous fingers from the earth, and there's a full moon that is currently in the backdrop, that's kind of like even providing more of illumination on these buildings. You'll see as you're walking up to the building that there are street lights that are on the left and right of it that illuminate parking lots that are also on the left and right that you assume are for people who reside in these projects. In front of each building, there is about a cement concrete walkway that's about 50 feet by 50 feet and leads up to double doors in the center. And you can't quite make out what is beyond those double doors. And you also see, and Kaetao, this is different than when you were here the previous night looking. You kind of see more of a presence of people that are in the front. You see that there's a group of about 5 individuals who are residing around one of the first floor windows, like the windows open and they're just kind of like sitting there. And you can hear like music that is coming out. And as you guys are getting closer, Valentine and Lenny, and you can also kind of hear it too, Kaetao, sitting in your car with the windshield rolled down, like the din of bass that is coming from music that's coming in the sound of voices. It's like it's its own ecosystem that resides within these projects. But you see these 5 individuals that are by a first floor window, but they don't look as much as like they're there loitering or hanging out. They look more on edge a little bit. And you see that there's one individual who's standing, has these baggy, like dicky shorts on and some flip flops, and has like a basketball jersey on. An African American individual who has a kind of like a shaved head, looks like he might be in his late teens, who's like standing there away from the group about 20 feet, kind of standing on the concrete, that patch of concrete that I said was in front of the building. You see random homeless people or younger people that may occasionally walk up, hand him money. You see him whistle, and you see the person that handed him the money will walk around to the side of the building, which you guys can't quite make out from the angle that you're at right now. We had earlier in the last session where you stated that, you had told Valentine to like Lenny, when you spoke to Valentine, you had to mute the phone and you kind of passed that information to him. That was happening in the parking lot right before you cross the street, because the parking lot that Kaetao currently is in is for a rent-to-own place. This rather large rent-to-own establishment that usually takes advantage of people who are of low income, charging them excessive interest rates to rent like furniture, TVs, and stuff like that. And so there's a rather large one that Kaetao is in the parking lot currently of, that's across the street from the eastern building. Valentine and Lenny, we left off. You guys were using Mask of a Thousand Faces. Can you describe to me what you guys currently look like at the moment before you cross the street?
I kind of look like, I guess I'm playing a dwarf, looking like a homeless person. Got my hood drawn up. Can Mask of a Thousand Faces, can I give myself a beard? Does that work?
Yeah, we rolled it and you're successful. You can
Sure.
give yourself a beard. You can make yourself look like a race you want to look like, because you're mentally imposing an image on people's minds when they see you.
Sure, gotcha. Thank you. So like a tiny homeless person, big beard, hood up, face looks kind of gruff and dirty. I guess I look a bit older. Kind of person that you'd look at for a second because of, his stature, but you'd probably quickly try and avoid eye contact with.
Now, is he African American or Caucasian, or what race is he at the moment?
I would go African American.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And what about you, Lenny?
So he's got like a scruffy kind of like look in his face, the beard that's kind of like half grown, not clean, just like that thick layer of like grime and sweat where like he looks like he hasn't bathed in a while, and just like matted hair, that's kind of like not really long, but still like just unwashed kind of look to him, and just very weathered. Whenever someone has seen a lot of like they've been outside a lot, they've seen a lot of sun and wind and everything, just kind of like weathered down kind of look to his appearance.
Definitely, like life has like taken its toll on him. So
Mm-hmm.
you both are looking like the roles that you said, the homeless people. You guys are on the curb of this parking lot about to cross the street. What do you guys want to do from here? What's going on with you two?
Can we speak to each other without being overheard from where we are?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Like Kaetao, he's
Yeah.
parked in the car like about 40 feet away. You know what I mean? He won't be able to hear you too. And definitely the people across the street, because right now you guys are looking across the street, and that's where like the projects start right there. So they can't hear you over there either. And frankly, they don't even probably notice you, because there's a lot of homeless people that are kind of vagrants that are on this side of town.
Well, Kaetel probably hear us because remember he has a phone open
Yeah.
with a phone call that
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
like ongoing.
Yeah.
Right.
He might be able to hear us muffled a little bit. But I'll just kind of look at Valentine and just be like, okay,
What's our approach here?
well, we're looking for this guy, so you want to just come out and ask, or
Yeah, let's go up. Do you want to take the lead? I feel like my height's not going to be conducive to the situation here. I feel like, I'm not going to be taken as seriously.
okay?
Sure. I'll follow your lead. See if I can, yeah. Right.
So I'll kind of like hunch my shoulders a bit and just kind of shuffle across the street, not like boldly striding or anything like that, just kind of adopting a stride that is, not
threatening or anything like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I'm going to
Okay.
affect a limp as well as I walk on my left leg, just a slight one.
Kaetao, you're sitting here and you're watching these two figures like start crossing the street. You both walk across the street with Lenny in the lead. And as you step off the curb and you start, look both ways for traffic to make sure cars aren't coming, you feel your feet kind of like crunch on the blacktop. And you notice, especially, I would say you both notice, but you more so, Valentine, as you are walking across the street, you see these little gel cap little containers that are shattered, like they've been ran over. Multiple amounts of them have been ran over by cars. You see like little plastic colored tops, and you realize, Lenny, when you see is that these are crack vials or that were like handed out to people, that they have gotten rock from and that have just been lost in the streets of northern Minneapolis here. And you see like rainwater is kind of running along across, as you're walking the street, you see on the gutter across from you, like rainwater is still like trickling down, and you see just like debris and trash that's kind of like traveled its way down there. And this is like something that you really haven't like witnessed as much, Valentine, and Lenny, you probably have, but this is more so than usual. And as you step over the curb onto the cement that is in front of the first project building, you both step over it. You get this sense of like tension that's in the air, like you can feel like almost like, how people say like you can cut the tension in the air. You just kind of feel that at this moment when you step on there. You feel like an electricity in the air. It's not something that's palatable. It's not something that you could probably even articulate, but it's just this eerie feeling that you have, like almost like a odd feeling of deja vu in a way, but not that you felt you've been here before, but it just brings up this sense in you that like you haven't quite felt before. And it could be, simply the fact that these projects are intimidating, the fact that they are these 4 large buildings that within them hold who knows what. And as you're sitting there contemplating that, as you step on there, you see the figure who's standing away from the group of 5 in the cement. He kind of looks at you, and you see that he's illuminated by one of the lamps that are lighting the front of this building. And you see that he just kind of second is like sizing you two up, and you see then his body language like relaxes a little bit, like he just kind of like, what I mean, knows what you're there for, which I would think would speak volumes, because you guys look homeless right now. That you kind of like hear the noise of people around there. You assume that homeless people are around here, but you can see that like when 2 figures cross the street, at first this figure felt on edge, and then now he feels relaxed when he's kind of able to make out the shapes and the appearances that you guys have. And as you get closer, he like looks for you for a second. He's like, what you motherfuckers want?
Yeah, so I'd be approaching him directly, yeah.
I'll follow you just slightly behind. I'm going to be kind of looking at the ground, and I'll be mumbling to myself a little bit. Just, kind of like someone talking to himself or talking to whatever around him.
Okay. I'll respond to his question with hey man, what kind of look around like conspiratorially. What you got, man?
Man, we got that H and shit. We got the rock. I got that WMD rock. You need that shit, man? What do you want?
Yeah, man. Yeah. How much?
I got you $20, get you like 2 rocks, good size rocks, man. You get
2
the
rocks,
good shit.
Yeah. And I'll take out like some money, and I'll make it obvious, because again, remember, I got a couple $100 there. I'll make it obvious I got some money, a little bit. I'll make some cash, just kind of showing it to him.
Yeah.
And just hand it over the 20, and then like put that in my pocket. Just gonna be like, yeah, man, yeah. This good stuff, right? It's good stuff.
Yeah, man. Give me the 20. I'll get you your shit, man.
I'll just kind of pass it over, like underhandedly.
He takes the 20 from you. He's like, and he like nods his head over there, and you see him like puts his like 2 fingers, pinkies in his mouth. You hear this whistling sound. He's like, walk over there, you get your shit, man. And he steps like 2 feet away from you, 3 feet away from you. Like he doesn't even acknowledge that you're there anymore, And he points to the side of the building.
I'll look down at Valentine, like, go get your shit, man. Go get your shit.
My eyes will kind of widen. And because I'm hungry for blood at the moment, I guess a little bit of that's coming through at the same time. So kind of limp over quite quickly.
I'm just kind of get a little bit closer to that other guy who just kind of took a few steps back, but let him walk off, and then whichever side you want to do first.
Yeah, let's go ahead and we'll do Valentine first. So Valentine, you're walking along the edge of this, walking along towards the left side of this building. And you walk past a group of 5 people, and you can tell they're not even like really acknowledging you, but you hear talking as you walk by. Can you give me a perception and alertness roll, sir? Difficulty 6.
5 successes there.
As you're walking by this group, you're starting to feel that predatory nature of you rise, that instinct, because you need to feed, and you see an opportunity now, like to feed, like you, whatever's around that corner is probably going to be some way to sate that hunger. And you know that this was a gift that was given to you by Lenny. Like Lenny is giving you an opportunity to go there and do what you need to do. And he's like standing by here. And so you start, when like each step that goes along that building to that corner that you're going to turn, you're starting to feel like more instinctually tied to the darkness around you and to that side of you that crept along forest and that survived on its own for all those years without even being found, before you were even found by anyone. And you're starting to feel that now. And like along with that comes more of awareness of your surroundings. Like you feel your feet like step in the grass, and then in the grass that goes along this building, that this dead muddy grass, and you like feel like the moisture in the air around you. You feel like the brightness that the moon is illuminating around you, but also your hearing is starting to become fine-tuned because you're waiting for any sign of this meal that is waiting around you. And as you're walking past these 3 people, or this group of 5, you start hearing like tiblets of conversation. And one you hear is like, it's like, what's up with motherfuckers butchering us, man? Now this motherfucker now Little has us out here all on guard and shit because motherfuckers are killing us, like leaving us all about. And I don't even know who this motherfucker is, man. And now I gotta stand out here all fucking night, like pretending like I know what to fucking look for. And you hear it's like, dude, shut the fuck up, man. Shut the fuck up. Don't be questioning shit. You know what happened to T like fucking last winter. You don't want that shit happen to you. Just do what the motherfucker tells you. And you hear him go, yeah, man, but I don't. And then they could talk about some motherfuckers coming here again. I hate when this shit happens, man. Not only does this motherfucker have us out here, like I can't be getting no pussy or any shit. Now I gotta watch out because some fucking white motherfucker's gonna come and visit him. And he's like, dude, don't be talking that shit. That fucking Little's woman is white. And he's like, and his mom's is white too and shit. He's like, I don't give a fuck though, man. I'm scared, man. What do you want me to say? You don't feel that shit? You don't feel fucking anytime that these motherfuckers come here and visit us and shit? Like you don't feel on edge? Like, man, you know what I want to do, motherfucker? I want to get on a bus. I want to get the fuck out of here. I'll go to Chicago. I'll go see my cousin. I don't give a shit, man. Now I gotta stay out here, and I don't want to be out here. I'm fucking scared, man. What the fuck you want me to say? And you hear another guy go, "What you want me to say? You want to end up like T? Because that's what you're gonna end up like. You know what the fuck's going on now, man? Someone's after us and shit, and you can go for that, or you can piss Little off. It's your own fucking choice, man." And you hear that as you hear the voices like fade off as you walk around the corner. And as you make your way around the corner, and right in front of you, you see like this kind of like the grass keeps going, and you see like this area, like this park area where people are barbecuing, and you can actually see like on your immediate left, like there's a parking lot that has like all these different types of vehicles. You assume it's a parking lot for either the building that you just walked around or the building that is currently like a little further ahead on your left there, which is the South Projects building. But you also see ahead of you like this huge courtyard that's like about 200 by 200 feet. You can't really make out too much what's going on here, but you see people and you hear noise. But what's really drawing your attention is the side of the building that's to your right now. And you see that there's this metal door that is on there. And you see that's propped open like a foot, like there's a rock there that has it propped open. And you see on this brown metal door a sign that's like kind of been screwed into it. That's like white with red letters painted on it. It says groundskeepers only. And when you walk and you're starting to read that, you see the door prop push open a little bit, and you see someone come out, and they're about 13 years old, 14 years old is your guess. You kind of see like they have baggy jeans on, and they have like this dirty wife beater on, and you see like it's an African-American kid, and you can see like his hair hasn't been cut probably like in a couple months, and you see he has like these dirty like sneakers on. And you see him he looks at you, then he like motions for you to come over, and you see that he has like a packet, like a little pack in his hand there, like he's waiting to hand to you.
Okay, I'll shuffle up to him with my limp quite quickly, and when I get to him, I'll stick my hand out really quickly with the palm upstretched and just stare at him.
And you see there's a moment where like this kid is off put by you. Like there's a moment where like he tries to like put on this false sense of like machismo, like he's trying to show that like he's not afraid of you, like he's there to fucking make money. And you could kind of hear behind him like distorted sound from like a movie or something playing from like the speakers of like some electronic thing. You're not quite sure. And you when you look like immediately behind him, you see like a metal staircase and a concrete floor, and you sense there's like maybe an area to the left that you can't quite make out. And this kid's just looking at you. This is an uncomfortable moment where you're looking at him with your hands out and he's looking at you and you sense his fear from him. And I need you to roll me a self-control roll, please. Difficulty 4.
4 successes.
So you feel the beast shackling up, but you're able to control it. And maybe it's because this child reminds you of you, being youth at one point or whatnot. But you have your hand out, and the kid like drops this vial in your hand, and you see like there's like 2 rocks, and there's one of those gel caps that you saw that had been destroyed in the street earlier. And he's just like, there's a second where he's looking at you, and then you see him like turn around, and he like starts heading back into the door that was propped open.
Just quickly, is there anyone else around that's seeing this happen?
You look around and you really don't see no one noticing, because as you're like looking, you kind of realize there's a lot of human movement that's in that back courtyard. You know what I mean? And you can kind of realize while you're standing that you're almost like an ant in an ant farm at this moment. Like you're really not like sticking out anywhere, because there's a sea of people that, I'm not saying there's hundreds of people, but there's definitely people that are walking on the side of these buildings, other homeless people that you've seen, stuff like that. So you're not really standing out at the moment.
Sure. Okay, and the other question I have was near the door, is there anywhere kind of like, garbage bins or dumpsters or anywhere that...
That's a good question. There is actually, as you like look behind you in that parking lot, you see that there's a green dumpster in the parking lot there, like where people who reside in these projects can take their trash and dump them in. There's actually 2 rather large ones, and you assume that this is where like garbage trucks will come and load them like that.
Okay, so as the kid turns around, I'm basically just gonna jump him. So by that I mean like leap on his back and push him forward so that his head hits the ground.
So as the kid turns around, you come upon him and you just shove him. Now, you don't have potence as a discipline, do you?
No.
Okay. So, and what's your strength?
2.
Oh no, well he's a kid too. I'm just curious. So you get behind him and you just start like pushing him into where the door is. You see like he gets shoved against the steps that are right in front. And you see him turn around for a moment, and you're like right on him, and you see he looks scared. You don't get him quite down on the ground, but you pushed him against the, you know what I mean? Like you come in there, push him from behind. He like goes forward and like hits these steps, the side of these steps, and he turns and looks at you. And as you step in there, you see on the left, where normally it would just be concrete and there's nothing there, you see like 2 like plastic like picnic chairs that are sitting there, and you see another kid his age like looking up at you like what the fuck, and he has like an iPad like that's in his hands, and you see like underneath him there's like a brown paper bag that looks like it's full of something, and there's like a pistol that's underneath there, and you see him for a second, he's like just looking at you, seeing this homeless guy in there. What do you want to do, guy? Like what are you trying to do here? You're like 2 feet inside the door right now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'll drag the kid in, and I just want to try and slam that door shut as quick as possible, and then I'm going to do what I can to take these 2 down.
What you can do is, because you're inside the door now, you can just kick back with your foot and kick the rock out, and the door will shut behind you. That was propping the door.
Sure, I'll do that.
And as you do that, you kind of hear the door close, and you hear echo, because you realize these steps go like 16 stories up. You know what I mean? They're like these great steps. And I will say this.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, if you're what are you at right now? 3 blood pool points?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll say if you spend 2, that bring you up to 4, I'll let you overpower the 1 kid.
Okay, but this is going to make it hard when I feed.
Yeah.
But by this point, like you were saying, I'm feeling like I'm back in the forest. These guys, I don't see them as kids. I see them as nutrition, basically, like the animals I would have fed on when I was younger. And yeah, I just pump the remaining blood I have into my strength to overpower them. So
you can pump 2. You have to have at least 1 blood pool point in you, right?
Yep, sure.
So I'm going to need you to give me a self-control roll, difficulty 7 right now.
One success.
Okay. So you like sit there and you push him in, you see this other kid, but like you said, you see nourishment right now. And so you just all of a sudden feel like that this adrenaline rush that just like starts pumping through you, and you just feel like you will yourself to overcome, you will yourself to like become the predator. And you go and you like, as the kid turns around and is like looking at you, as he starts turning around, you just like push all your might into your fucking hand. You just slam his head against the metal side of the railing that is on the steps. You see him crumble. You hear like this crunch, and you see him crumble down the ground. You turn and you look, and you see the kid. He's just holding this iPad for a second, and he's like, you see him for a second, just like look at you, and he just like tries to throw this iPad at you for a second to like, as a last will desperation, forgetting that like these assholes who have him like handing out drugs to people had given this pistol that he probably doesn't even know how to use, or he may have used, but he's not even thinking it right now. He's just instinctually thinking this to put something between you and him. And as he like throws this iPad at you, duck out of the way and you just leap on him and you come up on him. I feel like I need to make you roll one more self-control roll, difficulty 7.
0 success.
0 successes. So here's the thing. You can either let the beast come out, or you can spend a willpower point and get out of there. But I will tell you this: if you spend a willpower point and get away from there, you're down to 1 blood pool point, and you are around a bunch of people.
Yeah, I'm not resisting what's going on right now. I'm not fighting it. I'm just thinking about feeding.
And we're going to cut back to Lenny.
He walked away. I get a little bit closer to this guy.
Mm-hmm. And you see for a second, he's like looking, there's this uncomfortable moment, and he's just like looking at you, and he's like kind of shoos you a little way, like give space between you and him.
Hey man, hey, I got a question.
And he looks at you, he's like, what?
I'm looking for somebody.
Yeah,
and I hold up that cash that I'm holding that I had in my pocket.
And you see a moment that like, how much cash did you had? A lot, didn't you? You got
a couple hundred, yeah.
You see for a second, he's looking at you for a second, and he's like, you see him look at the money, and then you see a predatory look cross his eyes for a second. Like you see his demeanor change, and in a fucked up way, you know that look, because that look is like what is what is in the core of you right now, like of what you are. And you see that cross over his face for a second as he's looking at the money, looks at you, he's like, and
so I just want to talk to somebody named Little, man. Just want to talk to him, and if you can like make that happen. And I kind of gesture a little bit like with the cash like towards him.
Man, who motherfucker, you what? And he's like, who the fuck are you even why are you asking about him, man? What the fuck?
Hey man, I just want to talk to him. I heard he's the guy to talk to. All right, that's all. I got something that I think he'd be interested in.
How about this shit, motherfucker? You give me that money and you go. You don't want to be waving around money like that around these parts, motherfucker, because that shit's gonna be soon departed from you, white boy. Now, how about you give me that fucking money and you go back to where you came from?
Okay, so I want to step up a little bit closer to him, like right up in his face, and if I can, like just grab his arm tightly, like before he can like move or anything like that. Just step up, grab, and just say what? And just like really holding him tightly, like painfully so. Not like breaking anything, but just gripping.
And you see like a look cross his face from like arrogance, that predatory look, to the look of prey. And you just see like his demeanor starts to crumble in front of you. And he's like, who man, what the fuck? And you see him like, he's like looking around. You see him look for
I just want to talk to him. Can you help?
Man. And you see him like, he's like,
as I was saying that, yeah, with the other hand, I want to like hold up the cash like between him and me, like right between us, we're like just real close. One hand like holding onto his arm, like right on his forearm, and the other one just holding up the cash. Come on, just tell me where he is.
Give me a manipulation and intimidation if you could. Difficulty 6, please. 2 successes. All right, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna make a roll here. Okay, so you do that, and you see a moment where like you sense like he's trying to like will himself not to be intimidated by you, and then he's like, and he like just kind of like motions his head backwards, and he's like, he's over there in that one, man. He's in that building. Don't fucking tell him I told you, man. Give me that fucking money, dude. Give me that fucking money. He's
Tell
trying to
him
like.
what? I hand the cash over and just like, tell him what?
He's like, don't tell him I told you, motherfucker. Go get out of here, man. You can't get me fucking killed, motherfucker.
And then I'll kind of shuffle away
All right, and you're shuffling away towards like the
where
where I
he
take it Valentine
gestured
went.
at.
Oh, you're. Oh, okay,
I'm
nice.
just gonna get a look while I'm not gonna leave the area, right?
Oh, okay, gotcha. You're just kind of like
I'm
looking.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait for Valentine to like return
Okay.
if he returns. Like I'm thinking, he's just gonna go over there and maybe he's gonna get some feeding, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe he's just gonna grab this crack, come back, whatever, and then like I'm gonna kind of just back away, kind of take a look at this other building, observe, and wait for him to return.
So as you kind of leave this guy here with the money, you just can tell by his body language he's confused. You know what I mean? Like he's like doesn't even know how to react, but you can also tell he's like turned his back to like the 5 people who are like 40 feet away, who are like hanging out by that window, and he seemed like trying to count the money without them noticing it. And you walk towards the right side of this building and you kind of look and you see like there is like a green patch that goes north along the side of the building that you're currently at that kind of has like a sidewalk in the middle. There's a parking lot that you saw before when you crossed the street that's to the right, and then you see the other building that is on like the northeast side there, like that's in front of the parking lot, and you see like this building is just like the projects before, but you're standing there, right, and you're on the cement, right, still at the edge of the cement in front of the building that you originally went to, looking at this other building. And when you're looking at it and you see like the moon come over, like be down upon it, and you stare at this building, you kind of like are starting to get sense with this feel with this like sense of dread almost, like you feel that tension that's in the air. Like you're looking at this building, you see like just how large and ominous it is, and you start realizing that like that you don't know what is within here, and that compared to it, you're just but like a fleck of dust, but not saying it's going to affect how you act, but you just realize staring at this building, it's almost like a tomb in a way, and that you don't know what lies within it. What's going on in your head also when you start when those feelings start traveling through your head?
Lenny's he's a bravo. He puts on this facade of being always, unshaken by any sort of fear or challenges. So like nothing like that would ever show.
So he
No.
internalizes it.
Yeah. Like whatever feelings he's always feeling, he tries to maintain this, like I said, this facade. It may not be real. He has emotion just like anyone else, but he doesn't like to let anyone see what he perceives as being weakness.
Definitely.
So looking at this building, he's not like, he might have this little bit of like unease, but he's not going to be like, he's just going to shove it aside and focus and just kind of, I don't know, look for signs of activity, just quietly observe for a little bit, and I'll be listening to see if I hear or see, occasionally shifting my glance over towards the other side there if Valentine's returning yet.
So give me a perception alertness roll, difficulty 8, if you could, please.
Can we say I'm using auspex?
Yeah, we can say that, and we can lower the difficulty to 6.
I think I would be in this circumstance, looking for all this activity and trying to hear for him returning. It's 3 successes.
So as you're staring with a sense of unease, and I love that term that you used, unease, because that's what I was trying to convey, that you're seeing from there. And you're looking at this building, you for a second just really start to internalize that feeling, and you start to push outward your senses. And you find that like when you like close your eyes for a second and you just focus on what you hear, you realize that you are getting sensory input from almost like you slowly look at the ground and you like turn your head, and you're kind of turning your other way, and you're almost like using your ears as like an antenna, seeing what you can pick up. And you realize that from like your left side, like this almost like this sonar wave of sound is coming from. You hear like music, you hear loud voices like, "Hey motherfucker." You hear like kids crying, you hear a yelling husband like smacking his wife, you hear like some like like cooking, it sounds like, coming from the back courtyard. You hear like laughter, you hear like people like, trying to, bloviate about like conquest. You hear cars starting, you hear like doors slamming, you hear like windows like being slid up and people screaming for their kids, and you're just like sitting there focused. And then you like turn your head slightly down and you like take your left ear and you try to like focus your hearing on that building. And you realize that from the din that surrounds most of these projects, that building is almost quiet, is not as loud. You don't hear the signs of life. You don't hear the signs of children. You don't hear the signs of violence. You don't hear the sounds of too much there. It's quiet in a way. Now, is it like eerily quiet? Yes, but it's not like deathly silent, But it's definitely that building gives off a different wavelength than the other three. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess so in a kind of way. It's like you said, unease.
Yes, it's an unease, and it's not as volatile as the three other buildings. The three other buildings in reality are very dangerous spots for a lot of people. Death, drugs, violence. But from that building, you're not hearing the sounds of that. And that maybe even will add to the sense of unease a little bit.
Okay, so I'm going to wait there for a while.
Okay. Valentine, last thing you remember is rushing towards that kid. And now you're looking at a wall and you just see a crimson spray on the wall. And for a second, you're like, you don't realize where you're at. You don't understand what's going on. For a second, you're like it's like when you were a kid and your mom and dad would leave you at your grandma's house when they would have date night, and you'd go sleep in her guest room, and you'd wake up for a second. You would not realize where you're at. You'd feel that little sense of panic, like, where am I? And then slowly the picture starts like coming to life around you. But maybe coming to life is a bad term to use, because there's death right now that surrounds you. You're on your knees and you look before you and you see like the one boy who threw the iPad in a last desperation attempt is laying in front of you, and there's a huge gash in his neck, and his blood is pooling behind him, and you see his lifeless eyes are staring at the ceiling. And you look down and you realize, you see your knees are like in this puddle of blood. And there's a second where like you think for a second, like, oh, where's that other boy? He might be alive. He might be running. And you look and you turn and you see that other boy, his throat is ripped out on the foot of the steps. And you see blood is pouring from behind him too. Like they almost make like a T in a way with their corpses. And you see that like on the wall, there's like a bunch of blood that has been splattered across there. And you're looking, you see like your handprints all over the place of blood. And you realize now that like you have gorged yourself. You can go ahead and give yourself, we'll say you're full on your blood right now. And I need you to give me a conscience roll, please. Difficulty 8.
That's a botch.
You lose a dot of humanity. What does that bring you down to?
4.
4. You lose a dot of consciousness. What does that bring you down to?
1.
1, damn. And you're gonna have a derangement. Now, when the scene's not on you, we'll have you look over a derangement, and then when we touch you, when we touch on you again in this session, you can tell us what derangement you chose. So you're there right now in this scene. Okay. And there's a moment, a realization where you realize that your phone is in your pocket, and that Kaetao might have heard this on the other end. So we're gonna cut to Kaetao real quick. Kaetao, you're sitting in the car, and of course, everything that you're hearing is muffled. You can't hear distinctly like the conversation. You can't hear like any of the vocalizations. You know what I mean? You can hear a little bit when he was talking to Lenny when he was across the street. You can hear a little bit about like Lenny like talking to someone you assume it's like some kind of, and you could see them, by the way, from your car. Like you're sitting in your car right now, windows rolled down, ignition's not started. There's no light in there. You're sitting in the parking lot looking across the street, and you assume that you're hearing some kind of like trade for drugs going on. And you see Valentine walk along the front of the building and goes around the corner. And there's about like a 30 seconds to a minute where you don't hear anything. And then you just hear this like guttural roar, like the sound of like inhumane, like a cry of pain, almost like something that can only come from like the most hunger bowel pit of your stomach and your soul, and you just hear this come, and you hear like this, like a muffled screaming sort of, but it's almost like there's not enough time to scream, and then you just hear this like loud like slurping sound, and you just hear, and then all of a sudden you just hear it stop, and it's quiet, and you don't hear anything. All right, we'll cut back to you, Valentine. Valentine, you are on your knees right now staring at these, and you feel, as you look down upon them, you feel no remorse. You feel like this is the predator that you are. This is how you survived. This is what you must do. And you feel sated, which even makes it more of a feeling like this is how it has to happen.
They're just prey.
They're prey. And you didn't put them in this situation, right? Someone else put them in this situation. What are you doing right now?
I'm just kneeling. I'm feeling kind of, I've got that elation of just having fed, the thrill of the kind of kill. For a brief moment, I think about how young they were, but it's out of my head pretty quickly. And I kind of rationalize it in my head, like, these guys would have, they were already criminals. Whatever. Right now, my concern is, I guess, hiding them. I mean, I'm not going to be able to hide the blood, but I'm looking around where I am. Is there a space under the stairwell?
Yes, and that's very good that you mentioned that. There is a place under the stairwell.
Okay, I'm just going to drag one with each hand just under the stairwell. I'm not even going to try and, disguise the scene of what happened or anything, because that's just going to be futile. I just want them out of the way so that anyone looking for them is going to have to look a little bit harder. Might buy me a bit more time.
Yeah, and I'll say that you go ahead and do that. You like pull them each by their arms. You hear this sliding wet sound as you're dragging them along, and you come like under the stairs, and you see that there's like a mattress there. It's like two like little mattresses there with like pillows, and you see like there's a couple like change of clothes, and it doesn't take you long to realize that this is probably where these guys slept.
Sure.
You see like some snacks and like some boxes of cereal and stuff like that as you set them in there. What's going on in your head when you see that?
Kind of thinking, man, these guys aren't that different from me. So it's kind of like me, but at the same time, I'm thinking, the rationale for Valentine is it's a dog-eat-dog world. Like, could have just as easily been me. So I don't really feel, like you said, I don't feel any remorse beyond a slight empathy, I guess, or what's the word I'm looking for? I can kind of relate to their situation a little bit. It's not like a, oh no, what have I done thing.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, you weren't given the option, right? When you were ripped from when you were ripped from your existence and made into what you are. This is just how the world works, This is just what you've been born into. And in a way, I'm sure it's very easy to pass the blame. Like, it's not your fault. It's Roman's fault for killing Ophelia and having you come here. It's not your fault. You're just here trying to fix it, And this just happens to be a casualty in a war that's much larger than either of these two kids probably realize. Definitely.
Here's what else I want to do as well. So I'm gonna hide them under there. Maybe throw some blankets and clothes on them, pile them up. But I want to check the kids to see what they had on them, because if one of them had crack on, I'm assuming he had a bunch more stuff.
Yeah, you find that in the commotion, like in the chairs that are tipped over, you see that brown paper bag that you saw originally underneath there, and you look in there and you see a bunch of vials of crack, and you see like that pistol that was underneath there too, under the chair, but in their back area there, you see like there's some baggies of dope, of heroin, that are also in another bag, but you can kind of tell that like the profits right now aren't really probably being made with heroin. But also you see a bag of like this substance that you don't recognize, but it's like crystals, but it's like different colors of crystals. It looks almost like crack in a way, but more crystallized. And you see that also in another brown bag there. And you see like maybe like a total of like $30 in cash that has been like wrapped up in a rubber band there.
Okay. Here's what I want to do. I'm gonna remove my clothes and put on some of the spare clothes there, because obviously I'm going to be covered in blood. What I want to do is grab one of the dead kids, the one that opened the door originally, and as I look at his face, I'm going to use Mask of 1,000 Faces to turn myself into, or give myself the appearance of this guy.
All right, manipulation to perform is difficulty 7.
Botch.
So you Oh man.
I knew I should have used
Uh,
willpower.
yeah, you should have. So you look like how you looked before you used Mask of a
Am I
Thousand
aware
Faces
of
the
this?
first time.
Do I think I've changed?
Yes, you think you've changed.
Okay, cool. So
Yeah.
I'll put
Oh
it
no.
down. I'm going to tuck the pistol in the front of my underpants so that it's visible, and I'm gonna reach into each bag of drugs and just shove handfuls of each one into my pockets. I'm not going to take the whole lot, but that, and yeah, and then I'm going to go to the
Start
door.
walking around. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to peek the door open and look out to see if I can spot Lenny.
Well, you got to walk around the corner. You know what I mean? Because you're on the side of the building.
Oh yeah,
So
sure, sure.
you got to walk towards the east a little bit, and then you'll see on your left whether Lenny's there or not.
Okay, I'll do so. I'll prop the door open so I can get back in if I need to, though.
So I'm gonna give you one out, and you better hope
Mhm.
that Lenny rolls good. So Lenny, I need you to roll me a perception alertness roll, difficulty 6, please.
Is that with the aspects
Uh,
that I was using?
with the aspects, I'll make it difficulty 5. 3 successes. So you're standing there. You've had that where you're doing checking out the area, and you turn around and you look because you're like starting to wait for Valentine. You're starting to get a little impatient, and you look and you see around the corner a figure come walking, and it takes you a second to realize that like you're kind of like taken aback for a second. Like everything that was instilled upon you by Gerald and like and the whole family is just like slapping you in the face right now because you just see this form of an unobfuscated Valentine in a different change of clothes come walking around, and he does not look like at all like he fits in. He looks like his true self right now. And you see, like, while he's walking around the corner, you see the group of 5 people aren't really paying attention. They're not looking that way, you know. You see the guy who gave the money to still like fucking with the money, still looking around, and you see the other 5. They're more worried about something that comes from outside the projects than something that would come within. So they're all paying attention to like the parking lot in front, and you see this figure, Valentine, come walking around the corner. What are you gonna do?
Can
I
before anything happens, can I come up to Lenny and say, "Psst, Lenny,
No,
it's me, man."
no. There's literally like 75. There's like about like 50 yards between you and Lenny right now. Like
Okay,
he
good.
sees the silhouette of you walking. You know what I mean? You still have a ways to get to there, and like
Sure.
and between you and him is this group of 5 people who are looking out towards the street.
I'm just sauntering up. I've put on a bit of a swagger. My limp's gone, obviously.
does he see me? Like
Give me a perception and alertness roll. Also, Valentine, difficulty 5. You do see Lenny. Lenny, what's the look on your face right now? Like what does he see when he sees you looking at him right now?
okay, so if he looks at me, there's a look of shock, and I'm just like shaking my head and like I'll wave like my hand a little bit in front of my face. Hopefully that gets the message across, and I'm like shaking my head like no, like no.
I'll look
When
at
he-
you kind of puzzled, like, raise an eyebrow.
That's all I can do. I can't like shout it out or anything because then
Yeah.
they'll notice you like immediately. So I'm just like hoping you get the message.
You
Is-
pick it up. You see like the expression on Lenny's face, and Lenny's usually a collected guy. You know what I mean? You haven't seen Lenny like show outward emotion like this or anything. He's been pretty stoic. And right now you see him waving his hands in front of his face like that, looking kind of panicked in front of you. And you're sitting there for a second and you realize like you're like shit. Like, you know what I mean? You start realizing that you had this sense before when you spoke with Lenny and spoke with Kaetao, and you thought you were gonna like look slick, and you realize for a second that this has failed you again.
Okay, I'll quickly turn away and kind of crouch down, and I will try and use the ability again.
Okay, go ahead. I'll let you
Yeah.
roll.
And I will use a point of willpower because
All right. What does that bring you to?
I've still got 5 left
Okay.
of
cool.
8.
So
Gotcha.
a total of 2 successes, right? Yeah, the 1 willpower and then the 1 from the roll.
Mhm.
All right. So yes, you are able to look like this boy and look and you know what I mean? And I think with 2 successes with obfuscate, you can look like the person, right? You may not have their complete mannerisms, but you can look like them. So
Okay, I'll stand back up and look at
Lenny.
Lenny and kind of give him almost a shoulder shrug, like, huh? That better?
Did anyone notice this?
No, because like I said, the 5 individuals in the front are like so bent on looking forward do, and I don't want to say too much because the conversation bits that Valentine heard might explain a little bit, you know what I mean? But they're obviously put there because they're watching for something, because they feel like they're under attack. They've been, due to random two people found in an alleyway, and so they didn't notice at this point. So
Okay, well, crisis averted. I'll just kind of give him a little head nod, like, okay. And I will start walking over in that direction.
Hello, folks. Have you ever wished you could have an easy way to find gameplay videos and podcasts, or just media in general that deals with your favorite White Wolf role-playing games? Or have you ever wished you could find a forum to share gameplay that you have recorded, one which wouldn't be drowned out by random posts and discussion, so that your media could get the attention you want? Well, we have the answer for you in a Facebook group we run called White Wolf RPGs Gameplay and Media. The group is specifically ran with the sole intent of it being a one-stop shop for people to view or share media involving the games we all love. We take thorough steps to ensure the page does not become cluttered and is easy to traverse. We are currently over 1,000 members strong, and we are continuing to rapidly grow with new media being shared every day. Stop on by. We hope to see you there. High Level Games, the industry's first choice in taking your games to the next level. We are a podcast blog and new media network at highlevelgames.ca. We have blog posts about all of your favorite games going up 5 days a week, and a podcasting network with actual plays and shows that discuss role-playing games, with more rolling out all the time. We are on iTunes, Twitch, and YouTube. Find out more information at highlevelgames.ca, a site that certainly isn't controlled by a shadowy board of directors of otherworldly origin. That's highlevelgames.ca.
Please, help. They're coming.
The Los Angeles metropolitan area is constantly growing and changing. The Central District is full of new buildings. The Hollywood and Wilshire districts, once far from downtown, now are part of which spreads past Beverly Hills and out to the ocean. But why is all this going on in Los Angeles? Why is Los Angeles an exploding city?
Neon Masquerade.
The Demon's Mirror.
13 Candles.
3 chronicles running through the undead veins of the City of Angels.
The Esoteric Order of Roleplayers Actual Play podcast invites you to drink deeply.
Go to eorpodcast.com and search the duets tag to find out more.